My name is Lisa. I'm with Queen Bee Creations. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. We're going to be playing around with an alcohol ink background. And this is made using our Stampin Blends and some 91% rubbing alcohol. Note, we cannot use 70. I need to stress that. You cannot use 70% alcohol. It will not work, but it will with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of vellum. I have found this to work best on vellum. I've heard it can work on glossy backgrounds, on the shimmer paper. There's like different things it'll work on, but for me, it worked best on vellum, and so that's what I'm going to be using today. I have my 91% alcohol, and I have poured a little bit of it into this little container, and I have my little paintbrush. It was a set of like 6 or something, but the idea was that I wanted something really stiff, and my paintbrushes were not stiff, so for less than $1, I was able to get that. And then I brought in some of my Stampin' Blends. I have Dark Fresh Freesia, Dark Pool Party, Dark Just Jade, Dark Polished Pink, Dark Daffodil Delight, and Dark Pale Papaya. And so those are the colors I'm playing around with for this one. Stick around, and I'm going to show you not only what we're working on next week at the end, but I've got another card where I'm using some fall colors, and we're going to do a second background. Okay, so I'm just taking the brush tip end and I'm just laying down color randomly. No rhyme or reason to it. I just want some spread out all over. And I eventually want most of it covered. And I'm kind of trying to spread out my colors too. So just randomly scribbled all over this paper using my Stampin' Blends. I've got my stiff paintbrush, my 91% alcohol, and I'm just going to dab. And you'll see as I start dropping little puddles, it's going to expand and make it start to run a little. Now it's trying to pop up a little because I'm getting one side of the paper wet, and that's how paper works, is it will shift based on one side getting more moisture than the other. So sometimes what I'll do is try to add a little underneath. It works the same with heat. If you're using your heat tool and you're only heating one side, it's going to be a little uneven and it will start to warp. So if you're using your heat gun and this happens, just add a little heat to the other side. So you'll see that it's just kind of running into each other. And then I'm going to heat it with the heat tool just to dry it. So that's all it took. Now it's dry. And it's muddied a little bit here, but you kind of get the idea. Now if you wanted to, you could come back in, you could add more color. You can fill in spots you didn't like. You can dab on some more alcohol and just play with it. Again, you don't want to get it too wet, you know, or too muddled, because then your colors won't all be there, but you're kind of getting the idea of how pretty this can be. And I did this multiple times. Like I just did that one in front of you off camera. I did this one, and you can see if I hold it up a little bit, see how there's shiny sections on that side, and then this side's more matte. So this means this is the side I actually got wet. So when I put my card together, I'm probably going to put this towards the cardstock, just in case, you know, it was to get any kind of moisture. It might be a little brighter this way, depends on, you know, if you're worried about that or not. But you can see how gorgeous that's going to come out. And obviously this one I used some darker purples than I did on this one. Now we're ready to put our card together. Oh, here's some. This is the one I started when my camera wasn't working. You guys want to see another one? So you can see, so even though this sat for like 10 minutes, it's still working. And if I was to go through here and keep dropping, it would keep muddling around. Another thing I've seen people do at this point is maybe take a straw and blow on it with a straw. So what do you think? There's that one. So let's put one of these cards together. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to set this down on, I've got a layer of basic white. And then I've been using the seal, and I'm not noticing it too much. Sometimes people say that you can see the adhesive through the paper, and so they will choose to either try to hide it under the darker colors with maybe a little glue dot or something, or I've seen people take a sponge and they will put a little puddle of our Tombow glue, and then they'll dab into it with the sponge and then add that so it's even all over the whole thing. But I don't know, I'm not seeing the tape so much. You guys let me know. Can you see my tape? I mean, I think I'm so distracted by the pretty background, I don't even see it. But then to decorate it up, I'm going to just lay down a piece of ribbon. I have some of our pale papaya ribbon, and I've cut it about the length of my card front. And I'm just going to lay it down the middle. I'm using more adhesive than normal because it is, you know, ribbon. I want to make sure it's good and stuck. Now, because I'm using the Stitched Leaves dies, I went ahead and I cut some of those already. So these dies are the ones that coordinate with this stamp set. This is In Bloom, so it was the In Bloom bundle. And this is out of Tasteful Labels. I just wanted something kind of generic that could be my sentiment. And so I did Cherished Friend. That was out of a different stamp set. If somebody wants to know the name of that stamp set, I'll find it. But I'm going to use this one this time. And so I'm just going to pull in here and get You Are Amazing with some polished pink. I'm just going to line this up on my grid paper, then line my block up with the grid paper, and hopefully I'm straight. Now I'm going to stamp my sentiment over to the one side. Because I'm going to put my flowers on this side, I want to make sure I'm not covering up any of my words. So now I'm just kind of putting my layers together. And I chose to use Polished Pink and Pale Papaya. And then my leaves are out of Just Jade. Okay, so I'm just going to stick this one down flat, and then I'm going to pop up the other two on dimensionals. Okay, so there we go. There's our card. Fairly easy, right? And like I said, a lot of the things I do, very versatile. You know, I'm showing you one card. People have a tendency to want to do it exactly the way I did. But don't be afraid to like mix it up a little bit. Like I'm going to show you here, I'm going to bring in some fall colors. And a new bunch of my Stampin' Blends. Again, I'm using all the darks. But this one's Mango Melody. Here's Pumpkin Pie, Cajun Craze, Soft Succulent, Evening Evergreen, and Cinnamon Cider. So again, just a random picking of fall colors. I went ahead and I die cut some leaves. I have a very vanilla card base, a very vanilla label, and some gold trim. This is a piece of ribbon I just cut, again, the length of the thing. And so all we need now is a new piece of vellum. I'm not sure if there is a right side of this to put it on or not. I'm thinking probably the slicker side would work better because the idea is we want it to run. Now we're ready to add our alcohol. Now again, I'm trying to not get it too wet because I want the colors to run together, but I don't want them to muddy. And rather than get it too wet, it's better to dry it and then try again. I just put a little bit on the back to try to make it lay flat. But now I can come back in and add some more in those spots that didn't get it last time without it running together too much because my other wet spots are now dry. One more area. I suppose I could have had a little bit of tissue down here too and been able to dab it onto, you know, tissue or paper towel or something. But I'm loving the way that came out. Isn't that pretty? So now I'm just going to lay down the same kind of idea. I'm going to take my sentiment. I'm going to pull in my Love of Leaves, which is the stamp set that goes with the Stitched Leaves dies. I'm going to go with I Thought of You Today. And I think I'm going to do that in Cajun Craze. See, again, I don't see the tape. There's a little space I missed right there with water, so I'm just going to make sure my ribbon goes across there and hides it. We've got our sentiment. And we just need to come up with an assortment of little leaves. Sometimes this can be like the most time-consuming part, is to try to figure out how this is all going to lay down and look best. For speed's sake, I think I'm just going to lay them down and put the biggest leaf on top to hide them all, you know, the little stems. So which of you is going to give this alcohol background a try? And are you going to do the pretty pastels, or are you going to go with these fall colors? Oops, kind of covered up my little wording, but there you go. There's our second card. Cool. I want to see what you guys do. When you're done making your cards, go over to the Realm of Creativity and post your creations, because I'm always looking for people to give a little prize to. And I actually need to mail last month's, but the end of each month I kind of do a drawing out of everybody who's our top contributors in the Realm of Creativity Facebook group. And I fill a paper pumpkin box with lots of little goodies for you guys, and I send that out to the person who gets picked on the drawing. So comment, like, share, do all those fun things over in the Realm of Creativity, and you too could get a box full of Stampin' Up! Supplies in the mail from me as a little thank you for being active in my group. Thank you for joining me. Bye.